But I want to go back to a story that's been kicking around and that we've been covering, the anti-co-governance roadshow by Julian Batchelor. That has created controversy up and down the country simply because Mr. Batchelor wants to exercise his right to free speech and share his views and perspectives on the Treaty of Waitangi and co-governance. Views not held by all, views that are contestable. And the creation or the growth amongst groups, mainly Māori groups or radical groups, a growing movement against his meetings and people who have tried to, well, I think rob him of his free speech. And they have turned up and they've tried to break into halls or they've infiltrated his private meetings. It's got pretty heated around the country, it would be fair to say, and pretty heated online. And whilst much was made recently of two incidents inside the halls where a woman snuck in and blew a whistle and says she was assaulted, and she went on all sorts of minor moronic online media shows, big deal, no one's been charged, and a woman who smashed or tried to smash Julian Batchelor's computer, and then there were all sorts of claims that he was assaulted. All our mainstream media seem to take, and I'm sure they'll be talking about this at their training day today, seem to take an anti-Julian Batchelor, anti-co-governance stand and don't really cover the issue fairly. But I was really interested in my last chat with Julian Batchelor. He told the story of a woman who had attended one of the meetings, who had her cell phone taken from her, thrown on the ground and kicked around by the anti-co-governance protesters, and the police stood by and did nothing. And it was such a concerning story in terms of just at a very base level, police not doing their job properly, that I really wanted to know more about. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure I believed it. I'm not sure I believed the story because it was so outrageous what I was hearing. So I sent Ben the task of finding the woman involved who had her phone taken from her and finding out really firsthand what had happened. And I'm happy to say after a little bit of time, we are joined by the woman who was the centre of that incident. She joins us on the line now. Her name's Samantha Edwards, and she joins us now. Samantha, welcome to the platform. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Hi, Sean. Thanks so much for having me.
All right. I want to go back to the incident that sparked me talking to you. Where was it and when?
Okay, it was in Palmerston North, and this was a couple of weeks ago now when Julian came through with his seminar.
All right. Now, what did you know? What took you to that meeting?
Well, I mean, I went there because basically, mainstream media hasn't been providing any disclosure about what co-governance actually entails, and our politicians aren't fronting up with the truth about it. My concern is that I see how it's based on Hapuapua, and on the front page of Hapuapua it says it's a plan to realise the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples.
Yeah.
It's tailored to New Zealand just as the Voice is tailored to Australia, and so that's sort of my area of interest, I guess, and I wanted to learn more.
Okay. Now, did you know Julian before this? Have you been involved in political activism before, Samantha?
No, not really. I mean, I had met Julian many years before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are you politically active in any other way, Samantha?
Politically active, well, I mean, I definitely... I have an interest, much more in the last couple of years than I did in any
Right,
years
but you're not a
that.
member of a political party, you're not standing for office, you're not helping anyone run a political campaign?
No.
No, right. Okay, so you find out where the meeting is in Palmy and you plan to go along. Now, did you get into the meeting? Did you hear what Julian had to say?
Yep, I stayed for the whole seminar.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it was tricky to get in there.
Now, why was that? Tell us that story.
Oh, my goodness, it's like a scrum just trying to get to the gate,
Yeah.
So, it was it was an unusual experience.
Was it frightening trying to get in?
Well, I'm someone who's not easily frightened. I think it would have been for a lot of people, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of intimidation, a lot of push and shove just to even get to the gate.
And this was from the anti-co-governance, well, they call themselves counter-protesters, don't they?
They do, yes.
Yeah, okay. So you run the gauntlet, you get into the meeting with how many other people?
In the meeting? How
Yeah.
many in the meeting?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, I'm not sure.
100 or
maybe
150 or?
I don't think it would have been quite 150. I think it would have been a little less, maybe
Okay.
100.
All right,
Yeah.
so you do the meeting, you hear what Julian has to say, he makes his presentation, and then what do you figure? I go home.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Just went to leave and, and that's when things really ramped up.
Okay, tell us what happened. What do you mean by ramp up?
All the footage is available on Counterspin Media on their Facebook page or the Twitter page, the actual footage.
How did it get to them?
They did an episode called The United Nations Great Kiwi Swindle, Co-Governance Exposed. And I know, people at Counterspin, so...
Do you know people at Counterspin? Who do you know at Counterspin?
Kelvin and Hannah.
Oh, so you're friends of theirs?
Yes. Yes.
So, Samantha, you said you weren't politically active, right?
I'm not involved in any political party as such. No.
Okay, so
No,
how
but
well
I've
do you
had
know?
some things-
How do you now? Well, do you know Kelvin and Anna?
I know them well enough to know that from listening to what they've had to say in the last couple of years, I guess I've just gathered more respect because they have been right about everything that they've been talking about. So it just tweaked my...
See, I'd say they're cookers, to be honest, but that's my opinion. So, Samantha, tell us what happened. Tell us what happened with the phone.
Okay. With the phone?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, can I maybe if I just start from the start, from when I left? When I left the building. Yeah. Okay. So I walked out and was met with a throng of very angry people that just sort of pressed up all around me, and there was a strobe light flashing in my face, just shouting.
Yeah.
I think I'd taken about 2 steps. Well, I couldn't really walk. I had to be flanked by police, and they were sort of ushering me out. I was spat on within about the first 5 seconds. By the time I'd sort of got to the end of that line and been screamed at and yelled at and had a whistle blown right in my ear, so close that you could feel the spit coming out the whistle. By the time I got to the end of that little, line, I'd been kicked in the shins, and the police they were on either side of me and were pushing me, almost lifting me up, and telling me, get to my car. And so, that was a bit confronting. And I said to them, I'm not the criminal here. These people have just kicked me and shoved me. And
what did the police say?
What they said at that point was that these people are congregating around you, so you just need to get to your car. I just need to say that they were shouting my name, possibly because a week or two before that I had gone along to the drag time story hour here at the museum in Palmy, and politely and respectfully asked the drag queen, why they felt they needed to be there talking to toddlers. And they didn't appreciate that, and there was a lot of hatred around that.
So they were the same people at the anti-co-governance counter-protest as were at the drag queen thing?
Yes, the, I guess what you'd call far-left woke brigade was there in droves, and a lot of those people were there. There was a drag queen in stilettos with a big platinum wig who literally caged me in the entire time with a flag, and his friend, this rainbow lady. They were covering my phone and preventing me from being able to film the entire night. So there's a strong LGBTQ contingent.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
What happened then? Let's cut to the chase. What happened with your phone?
Yeah. Okay, well, I went down the other end of the car park towards my car, and I was just chatting with a friend down there, and then a couple of them came down towards me, the anti people,
Yeah.
And they were yelling out, "Oh, we got a lingerer!" And so this woman came down, and she just put her fist up in my face. You can see this on the footage.
Yeah.
And I said, "Can you get your fist out of my face?" Well, she had like her forearm right up to my mouth.
Yeah.
She tried to knock my phone out of my hand. And then her partner or whoever came. Interestingly, she said to me, when I said to her, "Can you get your hand out of my face?" she said to me, "No, you need to step back." And that was pretty much sums it up, actually. That's the kind of intimidation.
Yeah.
We own this place and you need to get out. Anyway, her partner comes along. He's holding like a big halogen, sort of one of those double panel kind of industrial lights right in my face, like just about touching my face. And even with my eyes closed, it was burning light. And I said, "Can you get your light out of my face?" And so he went round the back of my head and whacked me in the back of the head with it. And
he assaulted you?
That. Yes.
Okay.
He hit me quite hard with this big light. At that point, I'm getting a bit upset. And so I walked back down to where the police were, because I'm not happy to go to my car with these people on me.
Yeah.
There was another guy as well pushing up against me. So I went to the police and I said, "That guy down there, he just whacked me in the back of the head with this big industrial light." And you can see this on the footage where the police kind of, turn the other way. He eventually says to me, "Oh, well, you can come in the morning and make a report." And I thought, that's terrible. I'm not going to be able to identify the guy. He's just assaulted me. Do you want to come down and see him? But they weren't interested. And at that point, I felt a bit indignant and felt like, well, if I do go back to my car right now, I'm surrendering to this intimidation.
Yeah.
And, our children need a chance to grow up in a free society, and I'm not comfortable doing that. So I stayed there and I just started filming passively from the back. And so that, lasted a few minutes. Then Julian came out, flanked by the police, and that kind of like, you see it on the footage, it's like a military operation trying to get him out to his car. And at this point, I am being pushed and shoved, and I've been hit, I've been kicked again. So I'm sort of huddling up to the police next to Julian's car, because I can't get back to my car. I can't go anywhere without being attacked. And then you can see it on the footage, because it cuts to someone else's footage at this point, where there's two or three of them. You can see them talking to each other, and they gather around me, and one of them reaches up to my phone. She misses, so the other one reaches up. She grabs my phone and throws it, and then they start kicking it around. I lean down to get the phone, and I miss it. Someone else gets the phone. Long story short, that's sort of where the footage cuts out, because it turns the phone off.
Yeah. Were the police there when that happened? How close were they?
They were all around me, Sean, a big group of them. When I lean down, I'm picking up my credit cards because they've fallen out of my phone. I've got one of
because you want those phone wallet things, Yep.
wallet things, So I'm picking up my credit cards, and one of them lifts me up, my whole weight, by my hair. And I am literally eyeballing one of the policemen as they're doing this. And I don't know, a few seconds later, I call out to him and say, "You saw her." This is all on the footage.
Yeah.
"Lift me up by my hair, and you're not going to do anything." And he gives me that 100-yard stare. And he sort of glances back at me and says, "I didn't see anything."
Okay. All right. In the end, did you get your phone back?
Yes, I did. It's a bit of a miracle. But I did.
And is it working?
Yeah, it's got a few scratches on it. But
and you got the footage off it. Have you laid a complaint with the police?
I did, actually. Yeah, to be honest, if it was just me, I would have let it slide. But this is how this stuff works. They rely on it.
Have you laid a complaint with the Independent Police Complaints Authority about the actions of the officers that night?
No, but I'm working on that.
Well, what do you mean working on that?
I'm going to.
Okay. But you haven't yet.
Yeah.
2 weeks are on. I haven't. I've been extremely busy, but I'm
I'm looking at talking to other people who've had similar experiences, and just in the light of how this stuff is happening, not just to me or Julian, it's happening to anyone who dares to stand up and speak the truth. I mean, look at Counterspin.
Well, it seems to me the tensions of this have come both ways. And look, I'll be brutally honest with you. Counterspin are not a media organisation. The people behind it, I think, are highly questionable morally, Samantha. Can I also ask you, are a member of any other group like Voices for Freedom?
No, I'm not.
Okay, but you do seem to be involved in a whole... You said to me you weren't political, and I'm sorry, just from what you've told me and your associations, you sound like you are.
Well, you asked me specifically if I was a member of a party. Okay,
and you deliberately... I'm just going to put it to you, Samantha. You answered it in a way you knew what I was getting at, and you answered a way which kind of got around it.
Well, no, I mean, I think you could say anyone's political. In this day and age, anyone who cares about the state of our country is going to be politically inclined.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I'm politically inclined.
And I'm not saying that this makes me believe the veracity of your story any less. I think you've given us a quite chilling account of what things are getting to at these meetings, and it's just such a pity that the police do not intervene, whatever your views or politics, to protect a citizen like you, because that, damn it, is their job, isn't it?
Well, that's right. And Sean, I have to really be honest with you that from what I've seen, I feel that the police are not just being sort of neutral. It honestly sounds as if they are on their side. There's certain wording that they use during the night, where it made it pretty clear. The fact is, Julian's car sustained about $5,000 worth of damage that night.
Yeah.
They scratched it, gouged it. They wrote Antifa on it. And, you only have to do 5 minutes worth of research to see that where Antifa is funded,
Yeah. All right. So, Samantha, I thank you for telling your story. And I think it's important that we do hear the stories like that. Could you keep us up to date if you do go the IPCC route, and also your assault complaint laid, if anything's actually done about that? I got a horrible feeling it won't be.
Yeah, we've got to try, don't we? We have to do what we can. So I will be doing that. Yeah, and I'll keep you posted for sure.
Thank you very much indeed, Samantha. Thank you for your time this morning. Good luck to you. That is Samantha Edwards, clearly the victim, from what she accounted to us, of an assault and harassment outside a Stop Co-Governance meeting in Palmerston North 2 weeks ago. And sounds to me, whether or not you agree, and Counterspin, look, honestly, those people are not nice people. I'm just going to say it. They're certainly not journalists. The guy's a fantasist, an absolute blowhard fantasist. But that doesn't mean that, Samantha Edwards' story isn't true. And it is concerning, no matter who it happens to.